Hey guys, welcome back and thanks for coming to watch another video. My hands look kind of like trash right now because I was just playing with the cat about an hour ago and she got me good. She actually got me up here and I was bleeding for a minute there. But anyways, back to the puzzling. I got something really exciting and new. This came out, I would say, about the last week of the year. This is a Bellard by Cormier. He is a puzzle designer up in Canada. And you're probably looking at the name here and you were probably thinking when you saw the title, well, Loci, you spelled it wrong. But see, no, this is Billard, not Billiard, even though it looks like a billiard table, because that's the French part of Canada. And that's how they say it over there. So this is actually correct. And this is a sequential discovery puzzle. It has a couple stages here you have to get through. And as you can hear, it's like I asked when I got it. I said, hey, I received it. It sounds like a box of broken Christmas ornaments. And they were like, yes, that's correct. So this is the way it's supposed to be. And as you can see, it's numbered. It's number 96 of 100. He signed it, gave it the Will Strybos touch. It's got the name. It also has rubber bands on it, which might seem weird with a whole metal thing here. But if you think of a billiard table and think of the bumpers on the sides, then this makes plenty of sense. I'm actually going to replace these bands because as you'll see here, see the holes? You might not be able to. It wears out with the puzzle over time. And I'm going to replace it with black bands, so it'll look like the black leather bumpers you usually see on a pool table. These bands here are 3.5 inches by 3/8 of an inch, so almost a half an inch wide. So if you decide yourself with your Bellard to replace those, then you know now which kind to get. Now looking at it, the puzzling, we see we got a bunch of knobs here. They turn, they pull out, and if you noticed right then when I did it, when I pulled, they all kind of came out at the same time. So there is some connections here. And then on the top, well, we've got one already, just doing that. See, there is a ball bearing there in the pocket. So it's like so it's a themed puzzle that has themed puzzling, kind of like when we did the story on Turtle Trip to go through the puzzle. I very much like themed puzzles. I just released a puzzle myself called Pack Dynamite, shameless plug, that is themed like, you have to put out a mix of chemicals before they explode. And when I originally created it, I had designed it to be extremely tight in the false assembly, like the way it comes to you, so that when you pulled a piece out, they just kind of popped up like concentration. And if you had read the PDF before, it was going to be like, hey, there's combustibles here and you got to mix the inert in there to put out the, the combustibility of it. And so it was just meant as a gag, and the whole theming of it. And when you solve it, I won't run it here, but it's all themed as well. So this is the same. And I even asked the designer about this, about the level of theming, and they admittedly said that they kind of shaped it around the puzzle. But I think inherently they did a great job of also meeting the middle line of like pre-planning for theming, because there's parts of this that I would think are still very much like a pool table, even once you start to get inside here. So that's really cool. So it's like one of those inadvertent things in a way to get even a deeper dive on the theming. And that's important to me because I see a lot of puzzles designed that way, where they have a cool mechanism or a feature that is puzzling or fooling, and then they build a puzzle around it. I was going to do a video on Wishing Well, but it's already been done, and that thing ships with a solution, so I didn't really see the advantage of giving people a full-blown solution on it. But that thing I tell people is like, taking part of a Ferrari and shoving a box around it, and something 10 technicians would have to tool out. And that's what it felt like trying to solve it. But it wasn't themed that way. It was themed as a wishing well. So I feel at times you have this awesome mechanism and you build your puzzle around it. In Magic, I have a lot of Magic related people that will watch my channel. As a creator, you have an ultimate end goal. You know, like I want to be able to walk across water in a pool. And then you come up with all the engineering and the way to accomplish that goal. I think it's a unique, well, not unique because there are people doing it, but I think it's like kind of the other way of creating a puzzle too, is saying, hey, I want it to be like a pool table and then engineer it that way. And what I'm saying is, I think inadvertently Christian really did, kind of, because underneath this table, and I'm going to kind of give up some secrets on it now, there's a maze. So the goal here, as you saw the little ball bearing come in here, there's more. You can hear them. You can hear, if you move it, you can hear that they follow tracks. Like, they're not just, see? That's like 1. That's like 4. So there's different pathways happening. And I know this for a fact now, but underneath here. So you have a little bit of a maze going on. And to me, that reminds me of like the ball return on a pool table at a public like pool hall or something, when you pay the quarters and you pull the thing and you get your cue ball here, but then you got to get the whole balls out of the thing, and they come from all the holes down through paths to where they deposit. This is very similar. So when you face it, I'm going to treat this as north orientation here. This obvious spot where this is going to slide out, obviously, if you do it right, where this is nestled in. This is south, this is north, where we're going to be doing this right now. As far as the maze on it, there's really 3 different kind of mazes happening here, but only really 2 of them, this one and this one, connect. So the balls can kind of get in each other's way. Up here, you have 2 individual mazes here, and then there's little divots in the maze that kind of stop the movement of the ball bearings moving around. And these, when you pull on them, pull a rod down. So all of these holes out here are on the outer edges of the maze paths. And the rod is between the maze path end, where you want the ball bearing to be, and the maze itself. So not only do you have to path the ball through to get it where it needs to go, which these aren't complicated mazes, mind you. I could show you a picture right now, but I don't want to spoil it yet. I'll show you when we look inside. But anyways, the maze paths here, like I said, are simple, but with that rod coming up, it can actually scoop up a ball too, which means on a path like this that goes straight across, you could be seeing a ball bearing here, and then the other ball bearing could be in that post right there being shoved up into the wall of this, and you'll never see it show up over here. That actually got me for a bit. But also where the posts stick up and have cups to hold the balls, they also have little dips to release them. So if you feel you have a ball stuck like that, you want to turn. That's where the turning comes into play. So let's go ahead and let's pocket all of the pool balls here. So this maze over here on this side is just going to be a with an arch over here. So this ball here could be stuck up here, but mostly they're going to be down here. So we're going to lean this one and pull this rod down to let the ball pass, and it should just pocket. And there it goes. So we have this ball and this ball now. This one came naturally, and I'm glad, as long as it's not blocking the other. And then we have this ball here. Now this ball could be anywhere along the path or up in this hook, okay? So you want to go forward, right, down, and then pull the hammer and shake, and just keep doing that motion, and now we have the ball there. So now we are halfway there. Let's go for the middle one on this side now, and hopefully we just have it. And this thing is made of anodized aluminum. It's heat coated, or heat treated, sorry, to make it like really strong. And then he clear coated it. It's what gives it kind of this greenish look, which fits the pool table theme even more. But it makes it very hard, and you'll see why. I'm not gonna, so part of all this will require you to bang this puzzle. And I am not going to bang it on a 1/2-inch thick bird's eye maple table. And I'm not gonna reset up my rig. So I'm gonna use my hand here and make it happen when the time comes. But yeah, this thing is meant to be kind of banged around, and we just got that in there. So we've got 5. Now, as you pull down on these and get them in, you might release these guys, so be cognizant of that. Maybe even hold these down, you know, in the back as you pull to try to get what you're getting here. Now, this final one here is in a maze. It's kind of like a C, right? So we want to go this way, this way, this way again, just like we did the other side, and there it is. So now as you look at it, you see we have all 6 balls in the pocket. And if you give it a light, yeah, it's way quieter, right? And at this point, you can actually slide the lid out. It'll feel like it doesn't want to. We have a lot of things pushing up inside, but don't let that get you. See right there? And then you want to kind of pry and kind of come down with it as you come out. Now this will actually become a tray for the next stage for me. Now as we take a look in here, here's our maze. Remember, this is north, right? So as I was holding it, we had this maze that I was describing with the hook. This is a tool. We'll get to that in a second. And then this is the one going across. I said you could trap a ball in. And as you can see with these, let's see if we can get a good view of that. See how it's got the release? So you'd have to turn it and let the ball out back into the track. We have 2 backup balls here, which equals a total of 8. With the prize makes 9, so this is a game of 9 ball. And then we've got a bunch of pins here. They're a little bit bent. You'll see why. It's going to happen over time. And if you get to a point owning this where you need to replace some of this, these ball bearings are 1/4 inch. I know they don't seem that big, but they really are. The pins themselves are 1 millimeter by 20 millimeter doll pins. So I'm not 100% familiar with what a doll pin is, but if you look it up on Google, I'm sure you can figure it out. So we got this little screw-on type thing here. It goes right here in the center. All right, easy to figure out that one. These pins are really thin. They're like acupuncture needles. Look at that. But there's 6 of them. So you have essentially 2 extras. I'm gonna show you where and why. I'm gonna take the balls out because we're gonna be banging this sucker. I like to take them out and just set them in the 6 holes here. I have one of those magnetic tray deals that I can put these in. But I feel like this is awesome. You know, the lid comes out, you can use it as a tray to do the rest of the puzzle with. Now, we have holes. You can see them pretty plain. 1, 2, 3. And then if you look around, you'll find, oops, it's on this side, a hole right there. So there's 4 pin holes, and they have to be done in a certain order. This is where this puzzle can become a real task to figure out. This is a really difficult puzzle. I'm not afraid to admit, it's taken me a month to solve and kind of master the solve enough where I felt comfortable to go on video and say, okay, I'm gonna do this without fumbling a whole lot. This next part, it might take me a hot minute, actually. I know what I'm supposed to do, but it's a very industrial type puzzle. This tray right here is all the magic in this one. All the puzzling's taking place. And it's some really interesting cuts and grooves here. The machining on this is pretty awesome. Christian made another puzzle called Plant Cycle. And when you look at it, it's like a triangular base. It's about this tall. And it's got like 3 keys in it. I've never handled one. It looks like the lining around it like a master lock, like a heavy duty lock would be. So it looks very, very heavy and industrial. So it's definitely his like motif here. He makes things very sturdy and strong. So we're gonna test this against my hand. We're also gonna use the rubber bands, as a tool here. They actually are very useful. I actually used them once back on these to get the balls, like to move freely. I can pull down 2 at the same time. But let's go ahead. Looking at it now upside down, okay, so we're south here. We're going to go ahead and put the first pin right here on the right, away from a lot of the other stuff. So we put a pin in. Now, I can do this with my thumb, but I want to show you the intended way. most people aren't going to want to hold that pin down with their thumb. You're going to take the rubber band, you're going to pin it in just like that. It's going to give it like just the right amount of tension, right? And this is why the rubber bands take a beating over time. Once you get it in like this, I'm trying to remember now, I believe you hit across. So it goes like this. Let's make sure it's not. Nope, it's across. Yeah, doing it on your hand isn't advised. I can't bang my table. I hope I can get this in one take. Now I did get a mallet just in case. Let's grab that. Don't suggest using external tools. I'm going to use it as a surface to bang on. Oh, it went through the rubber band. Okay, so a new spot. There we go. It's going in now. You'll know when it's seated because it drops. There you go, it's in there. Now that this pin's been done, you'll be able to do this pin, and you don't have to bang it. You can actually pick this pinhole. So you go in at a forward angle, kind of like at a 45-degree angle here. And you start wiggling everything down. There's something in there to kind of go past. Hopefully I can just pick it and I don't have to bang the thing. I don't want to bend the pins too much, but I have done it this way. There it goes. So we've picked that hole. Now we do this side, and it's the same way as the other side was. Pin it down. Might want to get something to hold these in place, and then you're gonna go this direction with it. There it goes. Let it seat down in completely. I think it's fine, but, and then you have the final one. The final one's the hardest. This one, so the way these work, and I can show you a picture real quick. So this is the direction we're facing, and this is what we're dealing with inside this plate. There are pins on springs, and this one's blocking this one from moving. This one comes across, and then this one is two heavy pins pinning that one in. So the idea is to get that out. So this one here has to go that corner. This one here, bang that way. This one there, that way after you do this one. This one is going down, but I put the pin in like this and pushed it down. That's what we're doing there. So get a good look, freeze the screen. This is your internals. And then we're gonna take the other rubber band. It's like 1 a.m. where I'm at, and I think I just woke up my neighbor with this. All right, and then we just gotta go add an angle here. That was kind of in, it popped out. go. And now all the pins are seated. You have to be really aggressive. Now, if you had just banged this on the table one good 2 times, it would have probably just been fine. I obviously, it's 1 a.m. I'm in a condo and this table is about a 1/2 inch thick. If I banged it on this, it would have been a nightmare. But we got there. The hands will feel fine in about 30 minutes. But we got that. For yours, like I said, just bang it. So you go this way, pow. Pick that one in or down hard and it goes in. And then this one here, pow, goes straight in. And then this one here, this corner, bang, and it goes bring and snaps it right into place. Now that we have all of them seated, we can take this little guy right here and screw it right in the top, just like that. And I'll get this at an angle so you can see it better. Just like that. And here we go, there's your prize. It is an 8-ball, which is a cool prize actually for a puzzle. It's shiny, it's like a marble, a little bit metallic and reflective here. Something cool. Once you've solved it, set it on the table on top, you know, something like that. But nice to get little prizes, of course. And then as far as this guy, I'm not going to pull the pins out because it's going to force it all to lock back up. But whoa, I never tried doing that before. They push through. But you can see here, this is an interesting bit of engineering going on here. This is mostly the puzzle. All right here, this is the maze for the balls to move around on. It is the pathway for just these plunger deals to get through. It is the lid over which holds the prize, and it is a pin. Now, I've been talking about theming the whole time. Don't quite know where the pins would play into the theming, or, well, banging the sides. I know I've done that to a few friends while playing pool, so that actually is not far-fetched for me there. But yes, I couldn't explain away the pins so much as theming, but almost every other facet of this puzzle is themed almost perfectly to a pool table, which I find to be very cool, especially if you're a fan of the sport. Now, to put this back, we set it down gently like that, and listen to the snap when you pull these out. It's 1 pin, 2 pins, 3 pins, 4 pins. And now you'll see the tray is locked back into position. You'll want to take the pins up. They go right back in this single groove here of the maze that's by itself. And you might want to replace them over time. And then to put it back together, you can't just put the balls back in the maze, like reset it that way. It won't shut then. See the bottom of the tray? It makes room just for them to get through. So you have to put it in the solved state. So there and there, here, here, and up here, or down here, and right there. They're all back in. And that way, if you come back up at a slide angle, oh, we're about to try to shut it on this guy. That unscrews and goes right in the deep setted well there. But we go up at an angle, and you're gonna wanna slowly slide that in and compress it. And now you're locked back in place. And then to fully reset it, you're gonna pull on this one and shake, that ball is out. Pull on this one and shake, this one's out. I know you're thinking this is all obvious, but wait, we'll get there. This ball comes right out, and then this ball comes right out. Now these two aren't as easy. Get one to drop. So even getting one to drop is hard. Really, what you're gonna wanna do for these guys is wrap a rubber band kind of around. And then wrap it around the other one, which kind of extends both knobs at the same time. I know I'm shaking the hell out of everything. All right, now with both of them being pulled on at the same time, yeah, that first one came out. And now that second one came out. You can see what it is there's some bridging elasticity between these knobs. And you're not gonna really pull one knob out completely without pulling both out completely. And you get your rubber bands, put them back on. These nice little slots here are perfectly fitted for it, so it is meant to be. It's also kind of nice to leave one around the puzzle when you're doing the banging bit, if you want to just kind of guard the things you're hitting it against. This thing ain't gonna get hurt. This thing, yeah, it's a tank. All right. Okay, and what we have here, we look in all the holes, we hear the nonsense, right? We hear all the noise, and we have ourselves a fully reset puzzle. What are my thoughts? This is cool. I think the theming is pretty awesome with puzzles like this. I've already gushed over that part. Puzzling wise, the puzzling on this, I really like this first layer with the mazes and stuff. I like how they interact with each other and some of the traps that were put in there. It was fun. It took me about a week to really kind of figure out what it was for and what I was trying to accomplish there. And it was interesting as I kept getting further, there was less of a cacophony happening. This is a noisy, brutish puzzle. I will not deny that one bit. You are gonna be banging it and pulling it, rattling it. It's gonna wear your hands out and possibly your table or your mallet too. I bought this mallet just for this puzzle. The pin trap underneath, that one wasn't as hard to figure out in the sense of like, what are these pins for? Like, it took me a while to figure out what the ball bearings were doing and what this all was about. And then, you know, the aha is, oh, pocket all the balls like a game of pool. Makes total sense. And then the tray opens up. The pins underneath, you know, you see the 4 holes, you see the 6 pins, you put 2 and 2 together, and you figure it out. But how to get those pins into those holes is really challenging. It took me a good 2 weeks to get through all the holes, and then like a good week to just feel comfortable enough to even try to do this right now and show you guys. And then that whole time, you know, bang, bang, bang. You know, you better own your own house. You better be the type of person that can afford a pool table, that can have that in their own home, because the noise is obviously a big part of this puzzle. So if the noise doesn't bother you one bit, go wild. It doesn't bother me at all. I get complained on a lot by my neighbors. I had a neighbor ring my doorbell at 2 a.m. and cuss me out because I was watching Superman on my computer. So, you know, computer speakers. So there you go. So I'm sure I probably got a letter over this one tonight. But it's fine. I just want to make videos about puzzles, solve cool puzzles, and share them with you guys. This puzzle, I would say that the difficulty on this is pretty close to like well, you know, if this had more stages, I would say this is just as hard as Jewel Thief, because you know, you can kind of start to get a real idea of what's going on inside and still really find it to be a challenge to actually get there. So I hope this video helps. If at least, you know, just follow along maybe you followed along the video enough to get like an idea that you were on the right path and then bailed before I actually showed you what happens. I think it's really cool. I think this one here down the road is going to be kind of like how Plant Cycle is. It's going to be one that you see it pops up here and there, maybe at auction, sells high. People, you know, kind of grabbed this one and kind of kept it to themselves. You heard a few people in the Discord talking about how challenging it was and you know, being really proud of themselves when they figured their way through it. And I can see why. It's a very complex puzzle. The pathway underneath may even remind you of a famous designer from about 20 years ago that made dexterity puzzles. And I actually, when I talked to the designer, I brought that up, and he wasn't even familiar with that designer. So that's pretty awesome, because he's kind of made like a 2020s version of one of those type of puzzles. So that's pretty awesome. And with the multiple stages here and the tools that seem obvious but really aren't, you know, until you get there and find ways to use it. Because I'll be honest, when I first used the rubber band to pull these out and did that, I thought I was cheating. So I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be using this or not. But I figured if it wasn't meant to be used, it would be glued in or something, right? So rating wise, what do I give this? I give this 7.8 Paul Newman's, kicking your butt at the pool hall, you know, taking your money. This guy here is a pretty cool puzzle. It's going to look good in my collection because I like pool. I actually have like pool sticks, and, you know, I enjoy the game, and you know, I like most eye-hand coordination things. You guys know me. So this here is Billard, and I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but it's Christian Cormier. He's a designer out of Northern Canada, I believe. And if you get a chance to get your hands on one of these, give it a spin. I mean, obviously, I just spoiled the whole thing for you, but even after knowing how it's done, it still has challenge to it because you have to do it. So this has been a long one for me. I've rambled on. Go check it out. See, like I said, I don't even know what I'm talking about now. It's so late. It's past 1 a.m. and it's time to get some sleep and dream about puzzles and magic and stuff. So appreciate y'all for coming by and checking out my videos. We'll see you next time. I might be doing some videos on non-SD puzzles. I might put a few cubes together or something, show you guys a few different things that way. Even a tick, like what are they called? Turning interlocking cube. I have a real cool one over there, and maybe I'll make a video on that next time, or show you one of my puzzles I just made. I don't know. We'll do something. Hey, you guys take it easy. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'm out.